Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen, and I'm back for another live stream brought to you by Princess Dental Staffing. So I'm sorry if you tuned in earlier for the stream we did earlier. Found out that I had some audio issues, so I'm just redoing the stream from earlier. So if you had already tuned into the stream, I'm sorry that you're watching it again. But if you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. I'm going to be covering the same information in this stream and just reposting it. Okay. So, like I said, these live streams are brought to you by Princess Dental Staffing weekly on Wednesdays. So if you don't want to miss out on future streams, be sure to subscribe to our channel or like our page. Okay. And of course, if you have any thoughts or insights, comments, questions on any of the topics that we are covering, be sure to leave them in the comments. Each week, we're bringing you a live stream that talks about how you can start or maintain and strengthen your career in the dental industry. So we're bringing you a new topic each week. If you like the topics that we are covering, be sure to like our videos. Okay. And of course, if you want more information, be sure to visit Princess Dental Staffing's website at princessdentalstaffing.com, where you can check out their blog. It's also super easy to create a profile and start searching for jobs. Okay. So let's jump into today's topic. Today's topic is the importance of leadership in office management. Okay, so we're going to be talking about leadership. We're going to start off by talking about a little bit about what an office manager does, a little bit about leadership, and why it's important for office managers to have leadership skills and how we can strengthen those leadership skills. Okay, so firstly, let's start off by talking about what an office manager does, okay? Just kind of a brief, broad overview of their responsibilities and duties, okay? So office managers handle the administrative operations and employee delegation to make sure the office is successful and efficient, okay? So they're handling all of the administrative tasks in the dental office, and they're making sure that they are delegating those work tasks to their team members in order to make sure that everything gets done in a timely manner and accurately, okay? Organize and schedule appointments and meetings. They can also order office supplies and manage inventory to make sure that the office has all the tools that they need in order to complete their jobs and responsibilities, okay, their tasks and responsibilities. Supervise and monitor work of staff. Implement procedures and protocols to maintain office efficiency. So it's really important for office managers to know all the processes and procedures of the office so that they can continually update them and streamline them, okay? So that's really important. So, if you have a process that's not fully efficient, it's really up to the office manager to complete gap analysis and see where the gaps are and why this process isn't streamlined effectively, and be able to analyze that and suggest and implement some solutions that can help the efficiency of the office. Ensure that the office is clean, safe, and orderly. That's really important right now, right? With the COVID outbreak, really important to have, clean and sanitized areas for your patients, okay, to help stop the spread. And then lastly, prepare presentations, reports, and proposals. Okay, so that, like I said, that's a very brief, broad overview of office manager duties and responsibilities. But even with that kind of very broad overview, we can kind of see why leadership skills are so important to being an office manager, right? Because if you have all these duties and responsibilities that I just listed, it's really important to have those leadership skills to make sure that your team is, moving in the same direction, to make sure that your team, knows each team member knows what they're responsible for, what they need to accomplish, and how to get there. Okay, so it's super important for office managers to have those leadership skills, okay? So let's talk a little bit about how we can strengthen our leadership skills, okay? Firstly, effectively communicate, okay? So we want to make sure that we've got those great communication skills, both written and verbal communication skills, right? Because we're communicating, we can communicate face-to-face on the phone, but also via email as well, and those sorts of things. So, definitely want to make sure that we have our written and verbal communications highly skilled and honed, right? So the office manager is the backbone of the office. So communicating with their team members daily and effectively is really important, again, to make sure that everyone is moving in the same direction and that everyone knows what the end goal and the end result is here, okay? Also very important to be clear and concise with your team members, okay? So making sure that you're communicating things clearly and concisely so that, again, your team members know what is expected of them and what they are responsible for, okay? Also to make sure that all of your team members are on the same page, okay? So everyone knows what everyone is responsible for, which way they're going, and how they're getting there, okay? So effective communication, so important to helping strengthen your leadership skills, okay? Secondly, active listening skills. I've said in a lot of other videos that effective communication skills are not complete unless you have those active listening skills to accompany those communication skills, okay? So making sure that you're listening to your team, it just goes hand in hand with your communication skills, okay? So when you're an effective listener, when you're an active listener to your team members, it does several things. Firstly, it helps build that rapport, okay? It helps build those business relationships with your team members, and it helps build that trust as well. So if team members know that they can come to you and talk to you about good things, bad things, issues, and all those sorts of things, it's really that's really important, because then they bring everything to you so that you know about issues, in their early stages and not when it's too late. Okay, so having those active listening skills, it's really important to building that trust and building those professional relationships with your team members. Okay, and really building that rapport. Okay. So another way that we can build our leadership skills is being confident in our decisions, right? Being decisive and being confident in the way that we go forward, okay? So when you have that confidence in the decisions that you're making, it also helps your team members have confidence in you and the way that they are going forward as well, okay? So not only that, but it also helps build that employee morale, okay? And again, building that rapport and building that trust in you when you are confident in your decisions. Now, there is a difference between building or having confidence in your decisions and also being flexible, okay? So, being confident in your decisions does not mean being inflexible in changing your direction, okay? Just because you have information one day that, indicates that it's a good idea to move forward in this direction doesn't mean that you won't have new and more up-to-date information tomorrow and then move into another direction, okay? That's not necessarily being unconfident unconfident. I think it's unconfident in your decision making. Okay, so confidence and flexibility do not necessarily go hand in hand. It's not necessarily, a sign that you are not confident in your decision making if you change directions. Okay, really, just having confidence in your decision makings means that knowing that you did your research and that you're making the best decision possible to advance the office forward. Okay, but flexibility is also very, very important. Again, you might have to change direction at a moment's notice depending on what you're working on. So being confident, but also being flexible, really, really important to strengthening your leadership skills, okay? And then lastly, leading by example. So leading by example is so important. It's one thing to communicate expectations and responsibilities to your people, but it's another thing to model them, right? To lead by example and to complete the tasks that you expect of your people, okay? So when you lead by example, it helps, again, build those relationships, build that rapport, build that trust, but it also helps build that, it also helps build that employee morale. And it also, like I said, it helps bolster trust, right? Because, and also respect, okay? It helps build that respect among your team as well. If you're asking your team members to do something that you're not willing to do yourself, that really helps break down that trust and that respect in that relationship, okay? So never ask your team members to do something that you yourself are not willing to do, okay? So leading by example, it's so important to build that respect and build that morale among your team, okay? So those are just some ways that we can build our leadership skills. So I've got some comments coming in. Hello, Sahar. Being on the same page with your team is so important. Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you, Sahar. If everybody doesn't understand, what the responsibilities are, or what other people or what other team members' responsibilities are. And you're not all on the same page. You may be going in a different direction. And it takes longer to correct a mistake than to prevent it from happening. So, knowing where we're going and of course mistakes happen. That's not to say, they're necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes mistakes happen, but it's a lot easier to prevent them than it is to fix them. So if everybody's on the same page while you are moving forward, then it just helps. Bar against future issues, right? So yeah, absolutely. And the way that we make sure the entire team is on the same page are those effective communications. Can leadership skills be learned over time? That's a great question, Taylor. Yes, absolutely, they can be learned over time. You've heard the term born leader before, and and I think they exist. I definitely think there are definitely people who were born to lead, but for the rest of us, we've got to learn not only that, but the leadership skills that were so in demand 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago are not necessarily the same skills that are in demand today. Okay, leadership styles and techniques and tactics, they evolve over time. So it's super important to, if you need to learn those leadership skills and you're in a leadership position, it's absolutely vital to learn those leadership skills. But it's also super important to continue to hone those skills, continue to develop them, and to, learn new skills in order to be a well-rounded leader. Okay, so yeah, that's a great question. I like how you explain and connect confidence with the attribute of flexibility. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't necessarily, a lot of people think that being confident in their decision means, charging forward and not changing course. And that's not necessarily true. You can absolutely be a flexible leader and yet still have confidence in your decision making. Okay. And just understanding that, new information may come to light that in which you need to change your direction. Okay. So it's not necessarily just obstinately charging forward. It's, about having confidence in where you're going at the time you're going there. And then, being flexible is just the ability to change course when needed. Okay. So yeah, definitely, there's definitely a difference there, but definitely both are, I think, equally important. Yeah. So that is everything that I wanted to cover with you guys today about leadership. So we talked about, an office manager, their duties, and, why leadership is important to office managers and different ways that we can help strengthen our leadership skills. So if you have any other thoughts, questions, comments on the topic that we discovered or that we covered today, be sure to leave some comments. Again, if we didn't get to your question during the stream, we will definitely answer your question as soon as we are able to do so. And of course, if you have any other thoughts or insights, any other skills that you think would be great to help, support your skills as a leader, by all means, comment them below. So thanks for tuning in with me to everyone today. And I apologize for earlier, the audio issues earlier. So, but I'm so glad that you guys stuck with me, and we're here to see the second stream today. We'll be bringing you a new topic next week. So again, if you don't want to miss out on future streams, be sure to like our page or follow our page or subscribe to our channel. I'm Colleen. Thanks so much for being here with me today, everyone. Have a great week. I will see you next week. Bye.